Yeah, here's this. You know what? I don't why it is that all of a sudden I'm feeling just like, what's the word I'm feeling? I've been feeling this over the past couple of days anyway. Like, I'm so tired of fighting. I'm so tired of fighting with people. I don't know why I thought of this to say today about this person. You know, you know how I feel about these people. You know, when I'm not just totally enraged. This is kind of sad. Like, sad. You know, it's sad. Like, you like have a certain idea of what people are like, and then you realize that it's like they are nothing like what you thought that they were. They are nothing like what you thought that they were, you know, and they're just like, but I look at this and I'm like, okay, well, I mean, don't you think you maybe just have everything you really need in life, whether you want to think about it that way or not, you know? I mean, like, what more do you want out of life, you know? You've been famous for, I mean, famous, I'm not even going to really talk about, you know, like, money is, I think I have a pretty realistic thoughts about money, you know, and I've never tried to get money in some way that was like, you know, unethical or any of those things. And I'm not like just being poor, I don't think is like, it doesn't make me miserable. Excuse me, it really doesn't. Sorry about that. But but you have so much though. You have so much, you know, and it's like, and there's so much you could do with your life. You know, you're still married. Well, obviously, you still love your wife, whether you really always want to admit that or not. I think you're so indulged in everyone that you know. You're just such indulged people, you know, that you really, it just, you know, I wish you, and I guess what I'm thinking is, I kind of wish you would just kind of stay with what you're good at and understand that it's worth something. And that you don't have to like keep striving for something that like more and more prestige. You don't have to. You know what I mean? It's like you have plenty of prestige already. You're like, your movie won the Academy Award. What do you want? And didn't you win like Golden Globes for Best Director and Best Picture? You know, the number of people who would be happy just to be able to be working actors, you know, and you have so totally surpassed that. So you really need to be president, you really need to be senator, you really need to be governor to prove what? To prove what? You know, I mean, it's and look, I mean, I'm not trying to say anything about myself this way. It's not a question. And the thing is, your business is so cutthroat, for lack of like a better way to put it, and everyone in it is so really deluded about their genuine importance in the world. And I guess I was in a way too, like just expecting so much. But but if you think about it, yeah, you know, I mean, my family, Vermont's not a very big place. You can be if you're, you know, I mean, my parents ended up knowing a fair number of people, but that wasn't really, it wasn't like I was like really connected to all sorts of people. It was my parents took an interest. They took an interest in the world around them. They took an interest in politics to the extent that they paid attention. You know, and they told me that writing was important to be able to do that. And they stressed the importance of like a real education, which I haven't really been able to get yet. And I had a very tough time. And had to, you know, the entire time that you were making all sorts of money and like having your glamorous relationships, whether they worked out for you or not, I was like almost nothing was working out for me at all. You know, and yet in a few years, during a few years, although I'm also, you know, ridiculed at your behest, and, you know, you and other people like you, who, for whatever reason, you decided to inflict just an unbelievable amount of pain on me, and you enjoyed it, and you know that you did. And a lot of other people joined in that too. And you know, it's just, you know, you're vicious, evil, hateful people, you know, and you're lazy, and you're stupid, and you're rich. And I think the lazy, stupid, rich thing, it kind of all goes together, you know. I just do. I can't think of it some other way. You have no concept of what it's like to like live a normal life. Whatever it is you knew of that, you left it a long time ago, you know. So within it, even though I am ridiculed, you know, around the world, which is certainly what the conglomerate has tried to cause to happen, I've also been fairly influential, and it's only been in a few years, you know, and from absolutely nothing, right? From absolutely nothing. Because, you know, I have direct life experience, you know, of exactly all the things that you're attacking about society, you know, and so I know how important they are. I know how important it is, you know, to have like functional families. And not just because my own family had some problems, it was also because of all the other people I've met and the things that I've seen, you know, that happen to people who have, you know, who have all the sorts of problems that you are telling people to bring into their own lives, right? Because you are so indulged, right? That you don't really know what pain is. Maybe you think you do, but you don't, you know? Or like I don't even know how to talk about this. I just don't even really know how to talk about you are a creature beyond anything I have ever experienced in my life, and so is everybody else who's like you, you know. And you don't need it, is the thing. You don't need it. You don't need to move into politics. You clearly, you know, don't really understand them, and nobody else like you really truly understands them, because there's what it really is about, whether you realize it or not, is the effect that the decisions that politicians have, like the effect the decisions that politicians make on normal people, and all the lives of all the people out there, those nameless, faceless people, you know, the good ones and the bad ones. And that's something I do understand. I understand it personally, and I understand it for whatever reason. I am the person, you know, that I grew up to be for whatever reason, and I understand those things, and you don't. And nobody like you understands them either. So why don't you just leave it alone? You know, why don't you just be a director, be an actor, be a writer? You're not a bad writer, you know. But just why not, instead of trying to compete with me, if that's what you're still doing, why don't you just, you know, just be like, all right, you know, you've had a pretty easy life, and I've had a really tough time, right? And you don't need to compete with me about this, you know, and you don't need to compete with other people who really did take the time to serve the world, to serve the public. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's just your right. It's not like it's just your due to move into the next thing. Oh yeah, you know, it's me and Matt. What did you used to have conversations about which one of you would be vice president, and you always assumed it would be you. You know, if Matt did, was that it? Was that the plan? You don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. And why the president is still insisting that you do is just another example of how silly it is. Silly, but in a really tragic way. You know, because it has serious effects on people's lives. And and the entire time that all that crap still stays on his Google search result page is also encouraging other people to do the same awful things that you're doing. Oh, it's such a terrible example to be set to the world. It really is. You know, and it's not like I want to be president because I don't. And it's not like I want to ever really be in political office because I don't. You know, and I'm not just like trying to like ruin yours or other people's chances of political success, because you and a lot of other people try to totally destroy any chance I might have had of working things out with Ryan Philippe. You know, it's not what it is. You know, it's just part of your corruption, how vicious you are. But you should understand, it's certainly it wasn't like it was ever going to get you into my life, you doing that, or anybody else. All it did was make me angry. You know, and help to solidify what I already thought of you. Which is a very, very selfish person, and very selfish people who are just also ignorant like you, they don't belong in office. You don't deserve it.